Yay! We're here. We're here. We're here.
We're live.
Oh, I'm moderator. Oh,
Did you forget?
that's fine. That's fine. I probably agreed to that. Let's be honest. I probably agreed to that. Oh no, it froze. Did it freeze or am I just? No, it's not frozen.
It's not frozen.
No.
Okay.
We good.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, everyone.
Good morning. Hi, I'm Imani. I apparently am moderator. And I don't know what I'm doing. Hi, I'm Imani. I'm moderator of this panel. This is only girl in the world, only Femme face at the table, in which you end up being the only not dude identified person at a table. And we're gonna talk about being a token girl or token not dude. I'm gonna keep correcting myself on that particular point.
Hey, at least you're recognizing that dude is not a gender neutral term.
It is not gender neutral.
Coded, and so thank you for that.
Yes, like I can and understand people who use dude interchangeably, but dude is not. It's not.
Mm-hmm.
I blame like 90s Beach Boy era things.
I blame oh gosh, what's Good Burger?
Yeah, good burger. Dude, where's my car? Like, come on.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Hello.
Hi. Here's where you can find me on the internet. I do game dev stuff on Twitch. This is my Twitch channel. I do game dev stuff on Twitch. I make games. You can find them on itch.io. You can find me on mcatterdev on Twitter, yelling about various things. And let's take it away to the next person on the panel. I'm gonna go with the way it is for my layout, which is basically Morgan, you're up.
Okay. Hi, I'm Morgan. My pronouns are they, them, she, her interchangeably. You can find me on the socials at Serena Bezos. I'm a game. I like games. I write. I run games. I play in games. I do streams and podcasts. You can find them on socials. We can talk about it later. I'm very excited to be here because I've been playing in tabletops and LARPs for like over 15 years. So I've been in this scene for a while. But that's me.
Who's next? Kari, you're up.
Oh, all right. Hi, everyone. I'm Carrie.
Carrie, sorry.
Carrie, well, Utrio.
Utrio.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I go by Utrio on Twitter. And I am a illustrator and budding game designer, I guess. I'm working on my first game. I'm hoping to release it by the end of August.
Yay! Banana Chan, you're up.
Awesome. Yay. Happy to be here. My name is Banana Chan. I am the owner and co-founder of a small box board game publishing and RPG publishing company, Game and Curry. I also design and develop, write games for other companies such as Renegade, Hasbro, all the companies, Modifius.
Nice. So we have a mix of people at our table today, and we're gonna see how this goes. Since I'm the adult at the table today, we're gonna start off at the top. So let's talk about the last time you were the only Femme face at the table. Let's just start off with that.
Thursday.
Huh?
I was the only Femme-facing person at the table on Thursday. I'm in a D&D game that is like Acquisitions Incorporated, that book, whatever.
Okay.
And I play with my friends who are a bunch of cis men. So like, and they're like, hey, we want you to play with us. I'm like, all right, cool. I know you guys. I trust y'all. So that's the only group I really play, and that's all men, except for myself.
Who wants to go next?
I guess we can go in the same order.
Yes.
Yeah, let's do that.
So I guess my experience is very interesting because like all my regular games, I'm the only femme face at the table in my 2 regular games. But my 2 regular games also include like people who are trans mass as well as 1 cis man. So And they've been pretty welcoming, and I've been playing with these people for like 3+ years. So this is a game that's been going on for forever. And
I wish I had a game that lasted that long.
we're trying to actually finish a game, like actually end it. It is, hopefully it'll end soon, like, because we're sort of like on that climax leading towards the end, but we're not quite there yet. We're getting there.
Okay. Banana Chin?
I actually don't remember the last time I was the only femme face at the table.
Oh, that's nice. That's good.
But yeah, because mostly a part of that is that the people that I play with tend to be like, when it's not like a podcast type thing or a live stream type thing, it's usually like friend groups. And also, in this kind of environment, for me, it's easier to pick and choose like who you want to play with and who you want to spend time with. So I play with my friends and I play with people I like. And I haven't had the chance to play with anyone in a convention sort of setting in a while. So like people that I don't know in a while. So yeah. Oh, no, wait, no. I remember now. PAX East was the last time I was the only fan face at a table, and that was IRL at the convention. So I was running Jiangsu in the banquet hall, and that was the last time.
Okay, so yeah. I'm also in a weird position, with the exception of con games and my old long-standing game of Mouse Guard, where I was the only femme person at that game, but then we invited 2 other femme people in our next run through of that game. Or I just like, invite your girlfriend, invite your sister. That's how that worked. But con games, a lot of the time when I go to cons, I'll be the only girl, unless I drag one of my friends in who's with me at the convention to play with it. But it's weird. Is it weird? Is it weird? Is that the norm? Like, either being the only girl and what's moving around?
It's fine. I think she's reformatting the layout. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
I think when we first, or sorry, Morgan, you can go first. I just realized we're going back in the other.
That's okay. I didn't hear the question because I got distracted by the.
I got distracted as well. I was saying, like, is it weird because, like, so with my games that I've played and where I've been the only femme face, it's because it's been my friend group and I've been the only girl interested in playing. And then until we were playing for a long enough time, which my friend's sister and girlfriend were like, "Hey, I want to play too," and then they joined our table. But originally it was just me. So how does that happen when you're the only, like, barring convention games? How do you think that happens?
I honestly think that a lot of, at least when I started back in the mid 2000s, I had to remember what years it was. I started tabletopping and LARPing in 2005, so within like a month from each other. So how I got into both was because my boyfriend at the time wanted to run D&D 3.5, I think. I don't know if 4th was really popular yet, or it was, and no one really cared for it back
no
in
one
the
really
day.
cared for 4th edition. When 4th edition was supposed to be the game you're supposed to be playing.
Yeah, and he wanted to run it, so that's how I got into tabletop. And then it was just him and his friends, so that's how I started playing. And with LARPing, my friend wanted to go do the thing because she was dating someone that played LARPs, but she didn't want to go along, so I went along with her. And eventually, she fell off the face of the earth, and so I was the only one still with LARPs. That was the only femme at the table, quote unquote, or the room, or the park, rather.
Out in the world, you're the only femme face in the world.
Yeah, and that's how it started for me. Is basically was because of a guy I dated wanted to do these things, or a femme friend who was like, I want to do this, but I don't want to go alone.
Okay.
And so yeah.
So my experience with like tabletops, I started, I want to say 2013, around there. And actually, my first tabletop was a Dark Heresy game. It was a hell of a introduction.
That's a
There was one other fan face at the table, but I think that game after like 6 months kind of fell apart. It just kind
that's a
of
long time. You keep talking about these long games. Like, how do you get games that last 6 months?
well, it was going good until it didn't, and then it just spiraled until it kind of had to go into the back and just be put down. And after that, it was a lot of like a series of like games that would last like a few months and then stop. And after that, I didn't really play for a while. And then my partner came up to me and asked if I wanted to be part of a Warhammer Fantasy game that he wanted to start up. And it was with two other people that were relatively new to our friend group. And that kind of spawned into the 3-year campaign that I'm still part of. A lot of people in my friend group actually are either cis male or mass presenting. So I'm actually kind of like one of the only few femme people in my friend group. So that's kind of how it came out to be for me.
Banana?
I think when I first started playing, so the very, very first game, tabletop RPG that I played was D&D. At the time, I was in high school, and it was my ex-boyfriend at the time who was introducing me to this thing. Ex-boyfriend now, boyfriend then. But anyway, he was just like, hey, we should play this thing. I was more interested in drinking beer and stealing whiskey from our parents' cabinets. So I was not very interested in this whole high fantasy thing and like rolling dice and doing all the mathy stuff. It wasn't until like much later when I played Monster Hearts where I was just like, oh wow, this is a tabletop role-playing game. This is a thing that can happen in RPGs. I had no idea. And so like after I played that, I realized like, tabletop RPGs are not confined to high fantasy / D&D / Pathfinder / even I'm going to just throw in Shadowrun as well because that's a pretty big game. But like, it's not confined to these things that we imagine TTRPGs to be. It can be more than that. And that's sort of like how I found like more people through TTRPGs and just like being more interested in like different genres. It's not just, the high fantasy thing anymore. It's like, monsters in a high school, or it's, a witchy school, or, something else like that. So yeah, I think that's how I got my start in role-playing games.
Cool.
And then after that, it's just been like writing.
And
What about you?
So for me, it's weird. I was at a convention, I'm from a long family of nerdy people. My mom is like really into Star Trek. So I went to a convention, which is Dragon Con in Atlanta. And if you know anything about Atlanta during Labor Day weekend, it's hot as heck. And so you try to spend as much time indoors as you possibly can. And so I had some downtime between a bunch of writing panels. And so I was wandering around, and I ended up in what I now know to be the gaming room of the Amerimart, where they host all the like D&D, Pathfinder, games on demand, like all those games are there. And so someone was just like, well, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm not doing anything. I'm just like wandering and like, oh, do you have 2 hours like to do nothing? I was like, kind of, sort of. I want to like sit down and do nothing for 2 hours. And so I played D&D and didn't like it. And I wasn't the only femme face at that table either. Actually, now that I think about it, my very first D&D game, it was my lady became friends with Rachel and their friend Alex. And it was great. It was a great game. Don't get me wrong. I just didn't enjoy the story, I guess. And I wanted something crunchier with more dice rolling, and I ended up playing Pathfinder and loving that. So that's how I started playing. But like I literally started playing because it was hot. It was hot as heck, and I needed someplace with AC to sit down and do nothing for a while I like waited for a panel to start. Dragon Con is great though. That became my thing though. That was 5 years ago, I want to say, and then that was Dragon Con, MomoCon. New York Comic Con doesn't do tabletop games for real, but I found my local gaming store, and then my local gaming store I was the only femme face running games there for a very long time. Not that only there was another femme person in the store working at the store, but like in terms of running games, it was just me. Because Pathfinder was the thing I wanted to run, and everyone else was like D&D 5e, and I'm just like, but Pathfinder. Yes, the air conditioning and the gaming room for Dragon Con is like plus A, saving your life during September heat in Georgia. How does this happen? Oh, so here's my question. So if it hasn't happened to you in a while, when it did happen, when you would show up to a game, I know you said that it's because you're the only femme face in your friend group. But like when it happens in like conventions in 2019, because 2020 didn't happen. 2020 is not like a real year.
It doesn't exist.
It's not a real year.
It's just a void year. That's
yeah. We're just gonna like scratch 2020. But when it happens in 2018, 2019, when you show up at a game and you're the only femme face there, how do you react? Like, what is the process that you go through in terms of coming to terms with the situation that you're currently in?
When I go to a con now, if I am like, if I see on the sign up list that all the names are masked names, and then I always have this like little bit of hesitancy, like, do I really want to be a part of this game? Because like, I don't know. It's that Stranger Danger sort of like
yes.
like sirens just go off, and you're like, maybe this is not a good idea. But so if I play games at a con, which to be honest, the only con I went to last year, and I went to one in 2020. It was PAX South. That was in January, so
it was safe still.
It was still safe. But for PAX South, I worked the whole time, so I basically ran board games for Lucky Duck at PAX South, 2019 and 2020, and then the only con I went to was Big Bad Con, which is a really cool con in California. But I also worked half of that as well because I'm a volunteer for Big Bad Con. So when I do get to play, I play with friends because that's the only time I can't be in the scheduled slots. So I try to play with friends, and if anything, try to be with them. But if I do have the chance to actually sign up for a game, I actually try to look at the list beforehand and be like, how do I feel about these people? No, okay, I won't bother because I care about my well-being better than that. Carrie, what about you?
So for conventions, I usually try to play with, if I'm, with someone like my partner, I try to play alongside with them. Because otherwise, if like I kind of get the same feeling of feeling kind of uncomfortable about playing by myself, especially because these con spaces are usually dominated by, cis men that want to play in these convention spaces. I think the only time where that actually happened where like we signed up to play a game, but we kind of got separated into our own like different groups, was a mask game that I played in PAX Unplugged 2018. And I was actually kind of surprised that didn't actually turn out too bad. But then again, I guess I wasn't really the only femme face because the GM was.
Oh, okay.
Because I didn't realize until like after the fact. I was like, oh, okay, so it wasn't too bad. But like the other players were like cis male, and it was like for that brief moment before the GM came in, I was like, I don't know about this. When I used to DM games for like game stores, it was about 2 years ago. Oftentimes I was the only femme face at the table, and there were like people that were that would come and go. There were like some regulars that would come in week after week, but there were a lot of people that kind of like came by the store and would like be there for like a week, but then you would never see them again after that. So it was always like a hit and miss. There were some groups that I enjoyed playing, and there was like a group in particular that I think I was running a D&D Sunless Citadel group, and they stuck with me for like 2 months.
Nice.
But there was also definitely some like groups that were kind of cobbled together that, after playing, I was like, I don't want to play with you ever again.
Please never come back. Please,
Yeah,
please.
don't ever come back. At least don't come back to my table.
Yeah. Banana?
Yeah. I think I generally tend to just play with people I know, if it's for leisure, for, moderating a game or, managing a game or facilitating a game. That's a little different because you don't really know who you're going to get at the table most of the time, just because like they're randomly assigned to you. But if you're not GMing or DMing or anything like that, I try to play with people I know, just because I know I'll have a good time if I play with friends.
No, that's fair. That's a good, valid, much better than my go to convention, sign up for random games on demand, and hope for the best situation. Like that,
the games on demand is generally pretty good. Like with the
games on demand, like the actual organization of games on demand is generally speaking good. Like I've never had a bad experience with games on demand. Right? No, I haven't. They're great. I also haven't played any of their West Coast games because I just moved out here. I've only ever played with their East Coast people, so I can't, like, I'm sure it's fine.
Because I love their West Coast people. They're great.
Oh, I love their East Coast people. They're so good.
Yeah, their East Coast people are great too. But yeah, I love the West Coast too. Yeah. You're gonna love them.
I was so excited to meet them at like conventions this year, but then they all got canceled because of COVID here. So here's the question. So Banana Chan, this is going to be for you because you play with your friends. How do you drag your friends into playing when they're not into tabletop RPGs?
So I have my friend group that's not into tabletop RPGs, and I just don't play with them. But then I also have, the friend groups that are into tabletop RPGs, and I generally play with them more than anything. So, like, I think at this point I have a pretty wide network. Like, despite having like business partners and everything like that, I still have like pockets of friends who are also in the industry. So because it's a little different, because I work with like a lot of creators, and I'm in like the space where it's like a lot of business like goes hand in hand with playing games. I generally know who are the friends slash business partners slash potential business partners slash like creators that I enjoy playing with. So it just all sort of mingles together after a while.
See, I'm always trying to drag my non-game playing friends into playing games with me. Like I'm just like, hey, play this game with me, which is exciting because I have to explain everything to them, and I am not the best explainer of things, but it's fine. We're having a great time. And I only tell them good stories. That's how I get my friends to play with me. I only tell them what the good, fun experiences that they're gonna have, because I will do my very level best to protect you from all the bad things that I in theory know about.
Yeah, because I've had some experiences that I don't know if we'll get into later or not, but it's the reason why I'm so into like must protect the new players.
Yeah, must protect baby players.
But
how do you get your friends to play, Morgan?
I don't. if they're not already playing, then I don't want to force that into them. But if they're interested, I'm like, all right, cool. Well, let's play like maybe something that isn't like D&D that's overwhelmingly like complicated. Maybe we'll play like
Kids on Bikes.
Kids on Bikes. Yeah, I love Kids on Bikes. It's fun. It's narrative. You just go bonkers with it. Maybe Fiasco is another one. It's a good storytelling GMOS game where we can all sort of like walk together and go through it. Maybe even For the Queen. It's a card game, so like you're just answering questions and just making the story together. So just something simple to start them out with. Just be like, hey, you don't have to exactly get complicated as of yet, but if you can, we can later. Right now, I want to feed you this, like, I don't want to like have you choke on the cake. I want you to have a little nibble so you can see if you like it.
Yeah.
Carrie,
you can't tell. I'm looking.
Sorry, Ivani, what were you saying?
No, I was looking at Kari.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I want to say I wish I had that kind of experience of just being given like crumbs and seeing if I liked it. Because I definitely had experiences where people, I mentioned, hey, I might be interested in doing this, and then they throw like fourth edition or something in my face. I have no idea what any of these rules are or anything, so I just kind of like lose a little bit of interest. So I feel like I would have gotten into tabletops a lot quicker than I did.
Yeah.
As for getting friends to play, and this is a great question to ask my partner because he's the one that usually tries to get new people to play.
See, I'm always trying to indoctrinate, and like I'm just gonna say, I try to indoctrinate my friends into the culture of TTRPGs. But the good part, because my friends are good people, so the more good people it'll overwhelm the bad people, and we'll just drive them away.
Yeah. But
Like
usually usually when people are interested, we'll do like a one-shot game, something small to be like, maybe this is something you'd be interested in doing more of. Just like a short like session, just kind of getting them introduced to like the concepts and all that. I know we've been branching out and trying other games as well. I know we played, I think the last game that wasn't like D&D related that we played was like 10 Candles, which was really, really fun.
I want to play 10 Candles so badly.
It's so fun.
Oh.
And I think the other like non like D&D game that I like playing that's pretty easy to pick up is Dread. Dread is super fun.
That's another one I want to play. I want to play
Dread.
horror games. Like, I don't want to run them. I want to play them. Like, that's the main thing right now. It's like, I can run these easily, but I don't want to. I want to play them.
I'm a tangent from that into what's good game. So here's the thing. So you mentioned 4E not being a good starting place to play games with.
Yeah.
But I don't like horror things. I don't like scary things. So say you have a friend who expresses like a vague interest a female friend who expresses like a vague interest. Like, I think I might be interested in doing this thing. How do you gently ease them into the space?
I would ask them like what they're interested in, like
well, no, I guess let me rephrase that question. Yeah. What would you suggest if they're overwhelmed by choices?
I would just take the whole thing and filter it down to what I know about them and what they want, and be like, okay, you want something cute? We can play Glitter Hearts or For the Honor, or even Cozy Town by Jammy. Like, we can figure things out of like how to like. You want something like the Adventure Pack, and like superheroes. We can play Mass or something like that. Just just knowing them and what they want and like what they're interested in. There's a game out there for them that we can figure out what it is that isn't mechanic heavy.
Yeah. I'm all about like stripping down like mechanics if need be, or just like having something that's pre-set up for them so they can just choose, A, B, or C, and then like everything is set up for them.
Yeah.
I think to go off what Morgan was saying, sometimes what I like to do is ask people, what is a TV show or a movie that you enjoy? And if you like this TV show or movie, let's find something that has similar touch points.
Yeah.
So if you like Umbrella Academy, you'll probably like Kids on Bikes. If you like Stranger Things, you'll probably like Kids on Bikes. If you like, and I mentioned Umbrella Academy because I was talking about like, we were thinking about maybe hacking it for Kids on Bikes. But
I was thinking about that. I was like, wait, hold on. How do you? They're all powered, so would it be an all powered Kids on Bikes game? Like,
yeah, it's fine.
A couple of friends and I were just like thinking about like hacking it somehow. Anyway, that's not the point. But I mean, it is a point. But at the same time, like if you like Buffy or if you like Riverdale, then or maybe not Riverdale. What's the other one? Sabrina.
Supernatural.
Then maybe Supernatural. Maybe you'll like Monster Hearts. Just like trying to find those touch points so that maybe they will enjoy that theme more in a game.
Sorry, I'm like messing around with my windows so I can see things better. An Umbrella Academy hack does sound good though. I'm just gonna put that out there. Like an Umbrella Academy hack, the world deserves that.
I'm actually watching season 2 right now, and I'm like, yes, please.
Let's see. What other questions do? So we'll take questions from the audience. Obviously, if you have any questions, feel free to like throw them in chat, and then we'll throw them into the doc somewhere in this doc that I have. This Discord has ghosts. What is this? Point and click tutorial Discord.
Oh, that's a game. That's by Will Jobs and Adam Vass. It's through World Champ Games, and it's a game that you play through Discord.
I love it already. I love it already. So one of the other questions that we have in this doc before we take questions from the audience, or we can just tangent off on anything. Feel free to like throw things out there. Don't leave me here by myself.
No, we got you. Yeah. I think one thing is I'm reading the doc. It says, what are some ways that we can add new faces to the table at convention setting? You said adding friends.
Yeah.
I think another way too is like even being BIMPOC, like having representation and authority. So having femfolk in authority, like running games, organizing games on demand tables and stuff like that, it's really helpful. Like, for example, there's a here in Austin, there's a Gastro Game Pub that does D&D every Monday nights and Wednesday nights, and I help coordinate table layouts because there's about 7 to 10 tables that play D&D, and all of them have GMs, and I think there's like there's one Femme DM, which she took over my table, and I was like, here you go, you can have it. She was my player, now she's the DM, but I help coordinate. Yeah, so I help coordinate all the tables, so I make sure that all the seats are filled because they try to have about 7 players, which is like
mind blowing. That's 20 players. You should have
that's
like 5.
That's a lot. It was a lot, but also too, I make sure that they're full. So if there's femfolk at a table and there's femfolk on a list, I'm like, I'm gonna put those femfolk with the other femfolk because I know how it is. And so I had a DM actually get say like, I wish I had more femfolk at my table. Like, buddy, you have a whole bunch of dudes at your table. Until I get like a group of women or femfolk that want to go together, I'll add them there. Until further notice, they're going with the other femfolk because I'm not playing them by themselves. Like, he's like, fair, I understand, but I want more diversity. I was like, get more femfolk.
Yeah, find your friends, drag your friends, and document your friends into the tabletop community. Yeah. They can join you.
Yeah, so I was like, sorry, buddy, until there's more femfolk that aren't like attached to someone else in a different table or like one-offs or whatever, I'd rather have them be comfortable with another femme at the table because I know I would be more comfortable with another femme at the table.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
besides broadsword, just as an aside, are there any all-femme female shows that you like?
Well, if I want to plug my own podcast here for a minute.
Yeah,
so I'm one of the co-hosts for Powered by the Players, which is Powered by Apocalypse one-shot and mini campaign. We just games that have a diverse rotating cast, and the main co-hosts are all femfolk. So it's myself, Diana Lorraine, and Kristen Devine. So we all host it. We try to have a rotating diverse cast, meaning that we try to have our main thing is we have maybe like a handful of cis white male folk, straight cis white male folk that we're like, okay, we'll have you on the show eventually, but we rather be down the road somewhere.
Yeah, like later in time.
So a lot of the people that we have at our table are queer and BIMPOC, and like we just rather have people we're more comfortable with, and I think for the better of it, it's been going really good. We're about to record our 3rd mini campaign. We just finished recording our 2nd one-shot, so now we're going to start our 3rd mini campaign. And
drop the link in chat.
It's I think it's in my bio, or I'll figure it out.
Hold on, I'll see if it's in your bio.
I think I also want to touch on something that Janaea Kemper was talking about. So Janaea, she is an academic. She is a RPG writer, critic. She's basically a genius.
I love her so much. I love listening to her talk. It's
Oh my god, I know. She's so good. But yeah, I was just listening to her talking about the mythic norm, which is like a thing that Audre Lorde mentions, which is basically like this ideal characteristic that society holds for for a certain community. So for games, I think the mythic norm is usually And Janae has talked about this before. It's usually like a young, white, cisgendered, heterosexual, man who just, this is basically like the audience, the target audience for all the stuff that happens in the industry, right? So they create the stuff and they create the stuff for other men, and those men will consume it, and then it becomes like a vicious cycle where it's like you never introduce like other people into it. Janae is way better at explaining this than I am, trust me. But basically, what we need to do, I think, is to break that. So I think that, some of the ways that we can break that is either by introducing more people into the community, into the hobby, or getting more creators who are already writers, already game developers, and bringing them into the tabletop sphere. So, if we have BIMPOC writers who are doing science fiction, maybe they'd be interested in, getting integrated into the gaming sphere. There's a lot of sci-fi writers right now, and not trying to say that games pay more, but they do. Games
that's a low bar, I think.
Yeah, it's a low bar, but like if we can get more BIMPOC writers and like femme writers from like other industries, then I think that's one way that we can sort of change the way that we look at the industry as a whole.
Yeah. And also to plug my own shit for a second, but COVID ruined it. I was running a Women of Color Make Tabletop RPGs zine, which was supposed to be an ongoing zine where women of color got to make tabletop RPGs. You could write about them, make them, and talk about your experience playing them. But then COVID happened and it kind of fell apart. But it's coming back in 2021. Believe in me. I'm gonna throw a link for that in chat. It's just you can follow it. And I threw the links for Powered by the Players in chat as well, like the direct link. And yes, Broadswords is the one I know of offhand. Just because I know B.
Yeah.
And we had a panel. Were I on that panel? I don't remember. I've been doing so many things this weekend. It's crazy.
It's all blurring together.
It's all one giant blur.
It's like a real con where things just blur together and you're like, what time is it anymore?
Yeah. What time is it is a real question I've asked today while looking at my phone.
I can't believe it's only noon over there for you.
It's only noon. And I've been it's weird. Ooh, roll like a girl and venture maidens as well. Thank you for all these good. So I'm making a list of resources that I will tweet out after this panel, after Gen Con, when I have some time to sleep.
Let's say Angry Nerd Girl also mentioned Three Flings.
Yes, yes. Oh, continue. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, I know that they are a group that are going through all of the Uncaged anthology adventures. So
cool.
It's really, yeah, it's super cool.
Sorry, I grabbed the link for them and put it in my doc and didn't say anything.
You acknowledged them, but not verbally.
Not verbally. It's just like, oh yeah, I threw your link in my. I googled their YouTube.
I see you.
It's right. Look, it's right here. Here. It's right there. I did acknowledge. There's a lot of bonus experience. There's a lot of and so next, do we want to take audience questions, or do we have other things we want to talk about before we get to the bad experiences at conventions at playing?
Oh, I got so many bad experiences.
Oh, dude, I have one real bad experience, and then like everything else is kind of meh. But like,
yeah, once you get past that one traumatizing, truly bad experience.
And what's worse is that happened like when I was 17. So.
Oh no. God.
Yeah. We'll get to that later. We'll get to the when we actually get to that. I'll talk about it. But I'll have to put us content warnings up.
Yeah.
So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Does anyone in the audience and our lovely audience have any questions for us that they would like answered about being the only femme face in the world? And I do mean that on top.
So while we're getting questions, I do have a question for the group. What is one game that you want to play with an all femme-faced group? Just off the top of your head, like what's one game that you haven't had to play yet with an all femme-faced group?
Oh, well, Gumshoe.
Gumshoe would be really cute, like an all like Nancy Drew Babysitters Club sort of like
Yes, I want that. I want to.
I'm actually going to be working on a kids on bike scenario with Babysitters Club sort of situation. So.
Oh, I love. So my very first tabletop RPG that I wrote was Hot Off the Press, where you get to play as basically Nancy Drew meets Lois Lane meets like Scooby Doo esque, Veronica Mars type kids meddling.
Yeah.
And so that'd be great to do, run my own game and do that. But like realistically, I want a mystery game that I didn't write to play. I want a game someone else has done all the work for. I'm not accidentally playtesting my game while I'm playing.
Only play, no design.
No design, yes.
Only play.
Only play, no design.
What about y'all? Carrie, Banana.
What game do you want to play?
I remember there was this one game that was by Sarah Doombringer. What was it called? Velvet Glove.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
people were talking about that in the
Glove.
chat.
Yes,
yeah, it's a
wanna play
1970s teenage game, right? Where it's a girl gang.
Yes, girl gang. Yeah, I
It's a
wanna do
PBTA
that.
game. It's on my list
Yeah.
of games I want to run for the podcast. So
Yes, I played it once before, but it wasn't all femme faces at the table. And I think maybe Bluebeard's Bride too. That'd be good.
we actually ran Bluebeards for the podcast, and I wanted Femme like I don't want to say AFAB because I don't want to like throw people out there, but AFAB people. I was like, I want this game to be ran for AFAB people, so that's what I did. And for the session 0 and session 1 are already out on the podcast, but it was good. It was intense. So yeah, Bluebeards with an all femme facing table is pretty rad.
Nice. Again, I don't do scary things, so I'm never gonna play Bluebeard's Bride.
That's valid.
Everyone always talks about Bluebeard's Bride as this amazing game. I'm just like, yeah, can you run it and it not be a horror game? And then there's no, and I'm like, okay, then.
You're like, it sounds amazing, it sounds great, but I'll just enjoy you guys talking about
it. Also, Burst of Hope. Jess was like, I want a superhero and My Hero Academia style game with non-cis male cast. Listen, this is just because you mentioned My Hero Academia, I'm just gonna put this out there. I will fight someone. I will literally die for someone to make a hockey anime. If you made a women's hockey anime, I would die even more. Like, can someone make a women's hockey? Like, I know they just ran Magic and Mischief, which they got to play
yesterday.
Yeah. Like, but like, I want a game about a women's hockey team. Like, I want check please, or whatever the heck the name of that comic is. I can't get into that comic about hockey, a college hockey team. I want a female check please, yes. Check.
I love it.
Carrie, what about you? I got an idea.
Yeah.
Oh man, the only one that's coming to mind right now is like playing a Blades in the Dark game. I love heists. I love heisty things, and I think playing a all femme table with just a group that's just committing heist after heist sounds really fun to me.
It was so I was part of a podcast that's now never got off of the ground, unfortunately, and we were doing a Blades in the Dark podcast, and there is 2 non-binary AFABs like myself and one other person, and the other us I think were queer femmes. I don't want to put labels on people because I'm not sure myself. Yeah. But other than the DM, everybody else is like femme facing or AFAB or however you want to go with it, because and it was pretty fun. It was great. It's just I'm just sad that game ended before really it got the ball rolling, and we were smugglers and we had a barge, and so therefore we're pirates.
Ooh.
Oh my god.
I love it.
And we had birds. So
someone asked if we end up playing Glitter Hearts. The answer to that question is no, I've never played Glitter Hearts, but I do own Glitter Hearts. And I think if you back the itch.io
the big bundle,
you got Glitter Hearts as well. So you own Glitter Hearts. Everyone should play Glitter Hearts. I'm putting that.
It is on my list, but we just didn't ask like earlier this year. That I'm like, we gotta space ourselves out for like superhero-esque things. Even though I want to play it so badly right now. So like,
Princess World. Oh, sorry. I'll talk about it.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
So someone asked, they have an 8-year-old niece, what game would you recommend them playing with? And Jess responded with Princess World. The answer is Princess World. The correct answer is Princess World.
There's also another game that I saw that it's called Witch Scouts.
Oh.
It's basically you play as scouts. You play as kids, but you're scouts, but you're witches.
Mm-hmm.
I actually just pulled up the PDF. So developing your magical powers can be scary in your life. Not everyone is lucky enough to grow up with an older witch who can teach you what you need to know. That's what Witch Scouts is for. Along your coven, you learn the basics of magic as well as the talents that make you unique. You might even make some from friends along the way. Remember, always listen to your coven leader and obey the witch law.
I want it.
So I don't remember when I got this, but yeah, it's a cute little game where you play as kids, like growing up to be witches, and you can be like a let me just pull up the types of witches real quick. Play books. Oh, it won't let me click. But you can play as the necromancy scout or the potion scout or the hedge scout or the rainbow scout. You know.
Ooh.
I love that you can be a necromancy scout. I love that you can be a necromancy. Thank you for validating my existence.
So yeah, that's another cute game I think is great for kids. I know there's Pretty Fairy Princess or something like that.
So there's a My Little Pony game, but also I'm gonna put this out there. I know this is gonna sound controversial because WotC sucks. Mm-hmm. But one of my favorite games that I ever witnessed playing was a bunch of like under 7-year-old kids playing D&D because they just do whatever the heck they want. They are just
I love it. Yeah.
And the thing about it is you can distill D&D 5th edition down to a point in which little kids can understand it and it not be complicated for them. Like just it isn't that complicated if you ignore some of the stupider, like more complex rules. You can play a successful D&D 5th edition campaign with little kids. Like it's completely doable, and they will have a blast doing it because anything an adult will think of, kids don't think about it. Like they're like, I want to fight this dragon. You should fight the dragon. We're fighting the dragon.
Like, you know what? Sorry.
Go for it.
I'll say I have like DM'd for like little kids. They are fearless.
Yes.
And I love it.
Yeah, Oh, go ahead. Keep going, Carrie. Sorry.
No, it's just that, you present them with something that like you mentioned, you normally wouldn't do. And these little kids, they're either going to come up with some creative solution around it or they don't care and they keep going anyway.
Yeah. The definition of find me and find out is every little kid I've ever seen play a game.
Yeah.
I actually ran for Free RPG Day last year. I ran a one-shot scenario of D&D and then also Kids on Bikes. And for both scenarios, I played with a parent and a child. So for the D&D game, I played for this dad and who's like in probably like his late 30s, early 40s, and his like 7-year-old kid. And it was just delightful because the dad never really got into D&D because he ran into veterans a lot and they kind of just like gatekeeps, and I felt really bad because I was like, oh buddy, you should, but the kid was like really interested in like figuring it out, so I was like happy that they were having this moment.
Yeah.
And then when I ran Kids on Bikes, it was for 2 moms and their kids, so I was like, yay, mom's playing. I haven't played a game before, this makes me happy. But the kids, kids with Kids on Bikes is very weird because like one of the kids was like, I want to kill the thing. I'm like, why are you so violent?
Have you all ever played Dinosaur Princesses?
Yeah, I've heard of it. I think I have it. Hold on.
It is very good.
Yeah. Go for it.
Oh, I think it would be great for kids, but yeah, I think you could also get like a PDF version on IPR. But what were you gonna say?
Oh, I was gonna say before. So we're in 2 things. I'm gonna say 2 things. Someone mentioned Dinosaur Princess in chat, so there's that.
Oh, nice.
Cool. But we have one other question, and then we're gonna take a short break to get water because I am out of drink. I'm out of drink. And I need more tea. So the other question I got is, do you prefer playing with an all Femme group or a co-op group? And do you know that or a co-op group that you know? So would you rather play with random all Femmes or a co-op group that you know?
Co-op group that I know.
I'm just like call groups that I know. I would rather because here's the thing: playing with an all femme table is more comfortable and less likely to be upsetting, but there's still a chance of it being upsetting. And playing with people that I know, I'd rather play with people that I know because also if I know you, I can call you on your bullshit and not feel bad about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And plus, also too, with the people you know, you know that you can put these safety measures in place, and like they will actually go with it. So, yeah.
And the thing about this, so with the game, my long running mouse guard game, we didn't have safety tools. We just kind of like ran with it because I met them on a Discord server for mouse guard, and so it's like, how bad can mouse guard get? You don't really need safety tools for mouse guard, which is a lie. That's a lie. But like the longer we played together, the more comfortable I got with playing with them, the more likely I was to call them out on their shit, even though I was the only femme person at the table. I would rather play a game with them and later their sister and girlfriend than like an entire femme group of people that I don't know. Like I don't want to start from scratch over again. Like once I built like for long-term games, I don't want that. But for one shots, go for it. Redwall is dark. Redwall is very dark. Yeah, I wasn't prepared. I was not prepared for Redwall. Let's just go with that. But it was fun. We had great times. We saved some children, freed some people, and introduced capitalism or socialism to a capitalist society, and it worked real well. So does anyone have any comments before we take our 5?
Everybody else in the chat, or at least people watching, y'all go get some water too. Yes. Go hydrate.
Yes.
Follow.
Please.
Please stretch too.
Legs. Yeah. But that's all I have to say for now. And be prepared to buckle up when we get back, because oh boy, it's gonna go somewhere.
Throwing Twitchy Watch Mole. What? I can't pronounce. There's a 3 in there. There's a 3 in there. It's throwing me off.
What are all the
But we have a response to that. We if you scroll up in chat, if you weren't, I don't know if does chat work like that? Can you see past chat if you weren't here? No, right? We'll throw a bunch of answers in. What's your water mole? Is that a sea otter joke?
A water
mole. Sea otter joke.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Some people have thrown a bunch of other things, and people, while we're on break, people will throw more things in chat. But we'll be right back. It's a platypus joke. And we're back. Yay!
Yay!
Hello.
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 Hi.
I'm hiding the player, so I can no longer see our double time on the screen. But we're gonna talk about fun things, and by fun things, I mean the not fun parts. Who wants to go first? Because I will go last as a positive, uplifting story to share, as I have no negative experiences.
Oh, are we talking about negative experiences?
Or do we answer? We're gonna answer questions first. What do you want to do?
I'm okay with us like going into it and then like answering questions towards the end.
Okay. So we're gonna talk about negative experiences as being the only femme face in a space. I am lucky and blessed in which I have never had negative experience. I've only been witnesses to the negative experience. Well, I'll talk about that later at the end to like ground us to a like less shitty place.
I would go second to last because mine's really heavy. So
yeah. There will be a content warning thrown up in chat, just so you know, when it happens.
I'll go sometime in the middle because my experience is pretty bad too.
I'll go
like,
well, I guess I'm going first. So, yeah, no, I've been trying to think about like my like negative experiences, and a lot of them are, I guess, I don't know if it's something that's like someone would normally expect of sort of being like sidelined a lot and just kind of being ignored or pushed to the side. I think that's been most of like my bad experiences. I think there's like only one time where there was like lightly touching on some vaguely racist stuff as well, which left me very uncomfortable after that. I think that was a con experience.
There's such bad places sometimes.
Yeah, I think I was playing like a Pathfinder game, but yeah, that one in particular I think is the only one that really stands out to me, because I remember walking away from that game just not feeling good about playing in any like organized play after that.
That's unfortunate.
And, yeah, it was very unfortunate, but luckily that wasn't the last game I played at that con. I played a game of Mass after that, and that kind of like brought my experiences back up, being like, this is okay. So
yeah,
but that has like in my mind just like Pathfinder is a no-go forever.
That's fair. That my negative experience involves Pathfinder.
Yeah.
I mean, but mine is not that. Mine is I'm a witness to a negative experience at Pathfinder that was wildly uncomfortable at the table. Actually, twice, but involving two different people, but they were similar experiences. But I'll talk about that at the end. Banana Chan, you're up.
Oh God. Okay.
Here, do I have a content warning command? I don't.
This might need a content warning just because it does include like physical touch. So I guess like physical touch and just like crossing personal boundaries, like in general, and just misogyny in general.
Oddly enough, it's a word I can't spell.
Yeah, I think like the first experience I would probably talk about is like the at a convention. So I was at a convention, and this was during Gen Con, coincidentally. I was actually at the Steak and Shake. You know how you're like standing in line sometimes, just like waiting on that Steak and Shake line where it's just like super long.
Never been to Gen Con.
Oh, never mind. Well, it was in the Steak and Shake line, and I wanted to get a milkshake, but I was deciding whether I wanted to get a milkshake. I was talking to a friend, a private conversation between myself and my friend, wondering if we should get, like milkshakes or should we get like something else? And someone overheard, and he came up to me and grabbed my arm. And he was just like the top part of my arm, like right here. And he was just like touching it. And he was just like, you're so skinny, you should get, whatever you want. And I was just like,
ew,
excuse me? Like, I don't know you. So that was, I think that was close to my first Gen Con. It was probably like my first or second Gen Con. So that was gross. And then the other thing that happened was also at, I think it was Origins first or second day. And I was sitting there with like some of my games. I was like trying to demo my games, and a guy comes up and he just sits down next to me and he's just like, oh, okay. Like, you know, I thought he was like interested in the game. We were talking a little bit. And then I was trying to eventually tell him that I needed to go because I don't want to talk to you anymore. And he just kept being like, oh, well, you know, I I wouldn't have sat down here if it weren't, you know, if it weren't for someone like you. Like, you know, you attracted me to this game, so I want to learn more about this. And I was like, you know what, I just don't even know how to respond to that. So I'm just not going to talk to you anymore. So please go away.
Leave my space.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, it's a lot of that. That's why I don't really like try to talk to strangers in general at conventions, and go to like one event B, event C, like between places, and like not talk to anyone else. So yeah.
That's an
Imani, do you want?
Huh?
Imani, do you want to tell yours?
Oh wait, I haven't gone yet.
Oh wait, do you want to go last, or do you want to go?
No, Imani's gonna bring us back up.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay, go last.
Okay.
All right. So my content warnings are gonna be sexual assault in a game, not like me physically, but like in my characters. It rape pretty much in the game. And forced pregnancy. So those are my content warnings.
Oh my god. Oh.
That's disgusting. Oh,
so
God.
are you ready? I said
Yeah,
one for a
no,
reason.
go for it.
Okay, so I was 17 in a Vampire the Masquerade LARP. It was like 2006, so obviously safety tools, any of that they didn't exist at the time. Basically, I was playing a gangrel, which is like a very feral character. So she was strong. She was like, you know, had her thing going. And it was a game I was playing in for maybe since I started it. So, and at the time, I was actually dating the game runner, the storyteller. So that even goes to show you even more that, yeah. So there was a friend, their friend came in. This is the first time I ever playing. This was my first time ever meeting him at all. And he was playing a Bali, which I don't know if y'all know Vampire the Masquerade terms at all, but a Bali is like one of those clans that's like demon worshipping and trying to bring the end of the world through demonic stuff and all that stuff. So basically he was trying to like add plot and bring to the end of the world, but he needed to bring a demon in, and how they did it was basically had a forced pregnancy and have the demon be birthed. And instead of finding an NPC or like, you know, doing it off the stage, they decided to come after my character and have it happen to my character. And so my character attempted to fight and run away, and no matter what we did, he was always stronger, he was always faster, and there was nothing else that we could do. Even though, and this is a time where, you know, I didn't know better. I was like, I thought this is just how games were, and like, I just had to deal with it. And it was disheartening and all that. So my character became pregnant, my vampire character, and she tried to get rid of the pregnancy, and each time it wouldn't allow it to happen, and eventually she gave birth to a demon. And yeah,
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I don't mean to interrupt you.
No, please.
As the game runner, as the person who's running the game,
mm-hmm.
They just said, yes, we're going to let you do these things.
Mm-hmm. And also, the reason why it was me instead of someone else is because I was the only woman at the game.
Like,
they couldn't even find an NPC or like do like a side story situation. No, they wanted to be a player character. And none of this was discussed with me beforehand. And of course, this is mid-2000s, so none of the safety tools or anything even existed yet. So, yeah.
That's horrible. That's okay. Yeah, no. I mean, yeah. I can't lift. There's only so much heavy lifting my vaguely amusing and wildly uncomfortable stories can to pull. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I am am beyond words. Sorry, I'm shocked and surprised that you continue to play games with people that you don't know after that.
I mean, I hardly do know at this point, but I make sure that safety tools are in place, and then if they're not, I make sure that I'm able to walk away. And that's why I'm such a big advocate for like making sure safety in a space is there, because I don't want what happened to me happen to anybody else.
Yeah.
And you'd be damn sure if I find out about it, there's hell.
Yeah.
Because I don't play around.
Yeah. No, I mean in general speaking, when I try to, so like I was saying earlier about like indoctrinating my friends into playing games, I will do my level best to hold on a sec.
Thank you.
I will do my level best to make their experience as positive as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't want my friends to ever have to be in a place in which, because here's my uncomfortable story in which I was a witness to. I was running a game with Pathfinder with people that I didn't know, with some people I knew, some people I didn't know, and I invited my friend Sarah to play with me at this game because they were trying to like try out new systems or whatever. And I, as the GM, ended up having to call the player out for being an asshole, but like they were deliberately being antagonistic to my friend for the sake of being antagonistic. Like, oh, I know how these, like, they were constantly correcting and like overstepping their boundaries as a player at this table, in which they think they know more than me as a GM. Which, mind you, at the time I was like a baby GM. Like I was like learning the ropes kind of deal. It's just like, no, you're not rules lawyering, but you're rules lawyering someone into having a bad time. And you're deliberately targeting the only other femme person at the table because the other femme person at the table is your GM. Like, and it was, I wouldn't say obvious, but like in retrospect, it was obvious what they were doing. And then when I called them out on it after the game had ended, they never came back again. They were just like if I can't have it my way, I'm just not going to play with you. And it's just like, I'm not sorry to see you go. Like, I'm not going to apologize for protecting someone else.
Yeah.
You're setting healthy boundaries.
Yeah. Because like the thing about playing with male-oriented, male-identifying people is a lot of them do this thing where they think they know best. They talk over you. They prioritize their own feelings and thoughts over like other people, and like that's mostly my negative experiences. Like 90% of my negative experiences. Oh, excuse me, I'm drinking orange juice and I got hiccups. 90% of my negative experience involve people disregarding my opinion and my knowledge of the game. Like, oh, I've been playing for 30 years. I know how to do these things. And it's just like, and I read the book last week. I have a fresher memory than you. Like, come the fuck on. Like, and so a lot of my negative experiences involve people I for a long time I was a GM, not a player. Comes from people disregarding me based solely on my gender presentation, the way I present my gender.
Yeah.
And that's exhausting.
I have one slightly better story now that we're talking about people misperceiving us on our gender perception. So I went to a local game store, and it's one of my friend's game stores, and one of his employees who doesn't know me was like just I guess trying to just chat with me because like I'm presenting, I'm just looking around browsing at board games and tabletop games, and he's like, oh, what do you like? I was like, oh, I like Mysterium and like Dixit, and he's like, oh, you like abstract games? And I was like, yeah. And I was like, yeah, I never really played like Ticket or Ride. He's like, those are just beginner games. Like, yeah, I never got into those. I never had a chance to play it. He's like, well, if you like, Dixit and Mysterium, you like maybe like this RPG called Fiasco. Because he assumed that I did not know anything about RPGs. And I was like, oh, Jason Morningstar, that's a friend of mine.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh, honey, you don't know me.
I love Jason.
I appreciate you trying, but...
Jason's drop that bit of information. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. No. Oh, no, go ahead.
I was like, drop that bit of information on them and see how they react.
He was just like, oh, okay, let me know if you have any questions. Bye. And he just
It's just, yeah, no. So I will actually I have a couple of great stories. I have a couple of great game stories. It involves the same people. So I'm originally from New York, and I will shout them out. There's a store in New York in Manhattan called Hex and Co. And I came into their store when they had like just opened and was just like, I want to run games for you.
Yeah.
I'm willing to do it because I want to play games with more people. And they let me. They let the stranger who they didn't know, who had never vouched for, who had never played games. Like I literally been in their store for like maybe 3 times prior to this experience, and they just let me. They just let me do what I want. And let me organize games and like use their space, and they're like give me food and like give me like employee discounts. And like I'm not an employee. I don't work here. I just do this for fun. And so that's like a lot of times people talk about like their local game store or their local comic book store and having negative experiences with the employees like gatekeeping. Hex and Co. as the New York store and like Games on Demand as like the convention space people have been amazing. Like they have at no point have I ever felt unwelcomed.
Awesome.
Which I think again makes my experience wildly different from other people's experience because like I played for a long time, for at least 3 or 4 years. I only played Pathfinder, and I only played Pathfinder at conventions. It was always with random people. It was always with, but like the Atlanta group that runs, with the exception of one person who will remain nameless, has been amazing. Like the Atlanta group who runs Pathfinder Society in Atlanta from MomoCon and DragonCon, amazing. The New Jersey people, what's your name? I've forgotten his name. They were also amazing. Like, but that's like that was me searching out good people to play games with, which is a lot more work. You shouldn't have to fight to find good people. You should be able to sit down at the table and play good games. Mm-hmm. Like that shouldn't be. It should be. That should out of the 4 people on this panel, my one good story should we should all have good stories. Like all have amazing stories for every experience. There should be more positive experiences than negative experiences.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and it makes me sad that that's not true.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just like it is hard to find a good table, but once you do, then that's like, the table that you stick with, right? Like, and it's not to say that like the industry itself is, rampant with terrible people. There are terrible people, and usually they get a lot of the limelight, but there are also really good people, and they're really kind. Like, you were mentioning Jason Morningstar. He's great. Mm-hmm. And like his whole community of friends, like they're all amazing. So like,
Bully Pit is a great group.
Yeah. Like Alex Roberts and Jen Martin, like they're all really sweet. And they're all really nice. And Steve Seghetti, like they're all amazing. Mm-hmm. So there are people out there that are nice. So
yeah. I will say, if we want to plug like awesome places in our areas that are pretty rad,
yes.
Vigilante, which is the gaming gastropub that I frequent as a second home, or I did before
COVID.
This happened. They not only are they knowledgeable about board games, they also have the D&D that runs every week, or Mondays and Wednesdays every week. They also even like did beginner stuff, like, hey, if you're a newbie to D&D, we'll have you play with us and just try it out and see if you like it and things like that. And I thought that was really cool because it allowed people who didn't know exactly where to go and didn't have friends really who played D&D to have a chance to go somewhere and play it.
Do you mind if I link them in chat, or would you rather not? Okay.
I will find their website and.
I found their website. I didn't want to do the thing where like what's the word where you tag someone in a home photo where they're like, I'm in your house.
Yeah. Yeah, they're currently closed because of the pandemic and all that, but they're my people. And then Preston, the guy who runs the place, I'll come back from a con and I'm like, Preston, sit with me. We're gonna talk about board games for a second, because he's like, what do you got? I'm like, all right, cool. These are the games I played with, which I think would be great for like tables at your bar. So I've had a few suggestions thrown at him that he actually ordered and added to the bar. So
nice.
He's very receptive.
Also, I'm gonna add Hex and Co. They're technically speaking open, but they have outdoor seating. And you can just basically go and buy a game and sit outside and play a game. They're great. They also have a Discord, which I'm part of. I won't link their Discord just because I think it's linked on their website. And in California, where I am in LA right now, they're gone now. But Dragons and Meeples used to be amazing. They were my favorite thing in the whole world, and I'm so sad that they closed like right before COVID happened. They might make a comeback. They were talking about doing a special event only, but then COVID happened.
Yeah.
Do y'all have any local areas that y'all really like, or?
So I also used to go to Hex & Co.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I'm based out of New York. I'm in Jersey now, but like the area is pretty close. Hex & Co. Uncommons, Brooklyn Strat. So there's Brooklyn Strat. There's also the Brooklyn Strat down by Wall Street now. I believe they opened up a new location, and that's great. And 20 Side Store. That place is great. 20 Side is amazing. And the owner of that, of 20 Sided, is a Femme person, so that's cool. Where else? I feel like there's some stores around us. Yeah, Williamsburg.
Okay, so we have to talk about things that happened in New York that apparently I didn't know, because I was in Hex & Co. like 4 days a week. Like 4 days a week.
Oh, whoa. I demoed some games there once, yeah.
Yeah, I played on a Wednesday game, I played on a Saturday game, I played on a Thursday game, and then, no, just 3 days. I was only there 3 days a week, because I was running games on Saturday, and I was in a game Wednesday and Thursday.
Oh my gosh, that's a lot.
It's a small world.
Yeah.
I love that though. That's good. Carrie, do you have like a local place that you can like be comfortable with, or?
Well, speaking of small worlds, so I haven't really been to any place up here in like the Seattle area, and moved here about like 2 years ago. But when I was back in Hawaii, where I used to live, there were 2 places that I would frequent. One is called Other Realms, and they would have something like an event going on every day of the week, but Wednesday in particular was their D&D/tabletop night. And I ended up, like, I started as a player, and then I got like put into like playing as a DM and kind of helped organize some of their their nights. And while I was there, they grew a lot. Like, it used to be like 1 or 2 tables, and by the time I left, there were like 7 tables going.
Oh, yeah.
I love it.
Nice.
I love that. That's so good.
And the other place that I would go is it's actually pretty close by. It was called the Armchair Adventurer. And what was nice about that place is once I had like a regular group, they would have like an area. They would have a couple areas, like couple backroom areas where people could rent out to just like, play games for a couple hours. They would always have food and drinks, and you can bring in your own food and drinks and snacks and stuff like that. And the staff there was just really nice and very helpful. And I
Nice.
going there. Those are the 2 places that I definitely like. There was like a community, like there were things going on, different game nights. And I think actually Armchair, they had like a group going of like local game devs in the area that would meet like once a month kind of thing. I was not a game dev back then, but if I were to go back, I would probably be in that group now.
Is this called Armchair what?
The Armchair Adventurer.
Oh, I found it.
Yeah.
I'm linking things in chat.
Oh, also in Hoboken, if you're in the Hoboken, New Jersey area, there is also a game place. The guy's name is Max. What's the place called? Hoboken Game Center? I think that's what it's called. Play Hoboken. That's what it is. Yeah. So if you're in the New Jersey area, that place is great too. They have game nights there. They also have golf simulators. They also have a bowling thing that they're trying to set up, I think. And they also have, I think it's like, I don't know, it's like probably like $5 or something like that for an hour or something like that. I don't know.
They have a summer camp. They have D&D online.
Do they?
They do have a summer camp.
Play Hoboken? Let me just make sure that that's the right place. It's
Oh, okay.
Yes, this is it. Yes, they have golf, they have billiards. Yep, that's right.
That's so cool. I mean, there's
Awesome.
more places in the area like that do that, like Rogues Gallery up in Round Rock here in the Austin, Texas area. I've been up there a couple times. That's where I ran RPG Day, free RPG Day last year for the Kids on Bikes D&D thing. We have Dragon's Lair, we have Emeralds, which is like it's a what would you call it?
Game store, VR cafe.
It's a board game cafe, yeah. But they also sell board games in there as well. We have Outlaw Moon, where I used to play D&D like every other Thursdays, Tuesdays. I forgot on a day. I forgot what
A day a week.
Yeah, some day back. It was so long ago. And yeah, there's just various game places in the area that have, at least in Austin, that have a lot of game stuff. So
There needs to be a tabletop RPG version of the Valkyries. That's what the world needs. Did you know what the Valkyries are? They are a Twitter, Facebook group of women, femme people who point out good stores to buy comic books at and good comic book stores to like hang out in. As a femme identifying person, there needs to be a tabletop RPG version of that. They're great. My local comic book store was on their list of good places until it went out of business, which makes me sad.
Nice.
I need to find a good place out here in Seattle, Tacoma area because I haven't found one yet.
If you're in the Seattle, Tacoma area, please let us know your suggestions in chat.
Please.
Yeah.
Also, please put it out on Twitter. We are looking for things and stuff. Yeah, but should we move on to our? I kind of sidetracked us with that question.
No, it's okay.
I'm going to uplift.
we needed the uplifting moment.
I need to lift up.
Also, Miss Charity, where are you? Where would you be opening your own game store? Please tell me it's near me because I need a new game store.
Oh,
yes, especially femme ran game stores definitely need to be a thing that happens more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, I got one more. Sorry.
Yes.
Before I forget, there's one in Boston too. I think it's Avalon Game Store.
That sounds familiar from when I went to Boston, but
it's the one, or it's not. Avalon Game Cafe. That's it. Yeah. So that's owned by a person as well, and it's got like real good food. I think they opened recently. I don't know if they're how they're doing right now, but I think they're open, and they have like fancy food, like fancy like avocado toast and stuff, and games.
Ooh.
So yeah, it's like very artisanal.
I love it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's our recommendations. If you have more in chat, please.
Yeah, and also I should grab these and put these in my document so then I can tweet them out later. I made a mistake of putting them all in chat, so now I have to go grab them all from chat.
Do you want me to kick off the next thing while you do that?
Yes, kick off the next thing while you do that.
All right, cool. We'll tag team moderating. It's fine. we're all moderating ourselves. So the next thing is what? So we had a question we had some questions in here about like how to how in a work environment that we could add people to new faces to gaming, but this was off camera. I was like, well, I don't really have work, and they're like, Morgan, you podcast and stream, that's work. But I'm like, is it? So like, how do we figure out the difference for us as femfolk at work versus emotional labor, or just doing things for fun and all that? So what do y'all consider in that sort of like overlapping Venn diagram? What's what in the game world?
I think anything. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I would say time is a flat circle. That's the answer to that. It's a flat. It's a flat overlapping circle.
Not wrong.
I think anytime you have your name on a thing, like if you're public facing, then that's work. So like if you say for example, you're doing this is work, right? This thing that you're doing right now, like the panel, this is considered work. If you're using your name in like a publication, that's work. So that's what I consider work. But if you're playing a game, like, not on live stream at home, like, not really doing much other than like, unless you're playtesting or something, like if you're playing for pleasure, then I think that's not work.
Yeah,
Background noise. All the background noise.
well, dog barking. No, I want to say I agree with Banana here. Anything that you do that is like for fun with your friends, that probably wouldn't be considered work. Trying to think here. I had a train of thought going in and it just kind of, the dog sidetracked it.
Yeah.
I'll get back to me on that.
Yeah. So for me, like, even though yes, it is, I guess, work technically, I don't know. I just don't see it like that, because work for me is I get paid. That's work for me. Labor, like doing emotional labor and stuff, like being on these cons and talking about these things, especially with things relating to my own life, I find that more as emotional labor than work. Yes, my name's publicly attached to it, but also like I don't know. My brain doesn't
Connect
wrap
dots.
around the concept of it. And I just, so like, even when I do my podcast, even when I do streaming, like I'm just like, I'm out here having a good time, and I enjoy sharing that with you.
You can enjoy your work and emotional labor and it still be work and emotional labor. Like my day job, I enjoy, except for when I don't. I mostly enjoy my job. Like
Yeah.
And so like I don't think of everything I do as work. Like when I played in Outskirt, that wasn't work. That was something I did for fun, just with my friends that no one saw. We were just goofing off and like whatever was happening. But then like I'm running a stream game in August, September, and I would consider that work.
Mm-hmm.
I put the work in air quotes there because like there's expectations. That's how I determine if it's work or emotional labor. Is someone expecting something of me, out of me, from me to do a thing? Like, will they be upset if I miss a game? The answer is yes. It is suddenly work, which isn't bad. It's not bad. It doesn't mean it's not fun.
Yeah, no, and I get that. I guess for me that like, I just, I don't know, because I've got into podcasting and gaming just because like I enjoy it, and I just enjoy like putting content out. I guess now that I'm actually writing and like actually helping co-host a podcast, I'm like, oh, maybe it is some sort of work and labor, because like I don't know, I don't, maybe it's because I need to figure out my own value in life and like be able to like, no, it is work, Morgan, promote yourself, damn it, like
yes.
Your time is worth a lot.
Yeah,
I'm
gonna say anything that can consider labor, that's work.
If you think about it, like if you were like stopped and thought about it and goes, probably work. It was probably work.
Okay, I suppose. But yeah, so going off that then, since we're talking about work, labor, all that, how do you get more people into your work?
I don't shut up about it. I don't shut up about it. Like literally, I have a schedule, and I tweet, and I tweet, and I tweet, and I tweet. I make a Dreamwidth account, and I tweet. I send messages to my Dreamwidth account. I make a Tumblr. I tumble things. I don't shut up about my work. I am.
So sorry. I just want to say you're super organized. So I saw the thing that you sent out to us earlier with your marketing plan. That was incredibly organized. That was like,
it's a lie.
Like
it's all,
what?
It's all a lie.
It looks so good.
It's all a lie. It's a lie that I built for myself, because if I don't pretend to be organized, nothing will ever get done. It's intimidatingly organized. I have a deep respect for folks who game work, who
game work for the joy of it. It makes it glad.
Yeah. I mean, my work, my day job pays my bills. This I do for fun. I could theoretically, that's what I'm saying. It's work, but I'm doing it for fun. I don't need this to pay my bill. Yeah, I don't need to pay my bill. Like I'm not stressed if I don't make a sale, because it is not my day job.
Yeah, same. I have a very comfortable day job that I, enjoy, but it's a 9 to 5, so I have plenty of free time to, work around, and I'm privileged in that, and I will admit it. But so yeah, I enjoy this. This is, like I mentioned before, it's fun work.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun work.
It's not
stress
boring
work.
It's not stress work.
Not money work.
But,
Anyone else have anything else to add?
Sorry, I'm trying to think.
How can you best navigate playing a male character as the only girl at the table?
Oh, I love being a male character as the only girl at the table.
I mean, you weren't the only girl at the table for my podcast, but like for Monster Hearts, but
oh yeah,
Yeah.
I love playing a bro. I am like such a bro at heart. So yeah, like I love playing the werewolf jock. Like that's my shtick.
So I will say, for the Role to Play Network, I did a one shot on Role to Play, and Banana was in it playing a werewolf jock. Actually, no, you were a werewolf slacker. You weren't a jock. You were.
Oh, was I a slacker that time? Okay, well,
yeah.
I usually just play a werewolf something.
It was good. It was great.
Yeah, that's super fun.
For me, I generally speaking play gender neutral characters, or a dude, but I usually play someone's little brother. Like, I don't know how that happens. I'm a younger sibling. That's what it is. That's the answer to that question. I am a youngest sibling, and so therefore, when I play characters, I play younger siblings. That's the answer to that question, actually.
Nice.
And their gender is irrelevant to the fact that they're younger siblings, because all younger siblings, we're all exactly the same. We're all exactly the same, and we all know it.
I'm a middle sibling, can't relate.
I'm a youngest only girl sibling. Like, I have a very special place in this universe that prioritizes my well-being over everyone else's.
You were the baby.
I was the baby. I was the baby.
I was so growing up, I am still the oldest, except for my older half brother, but he didn't live with us, so like, he was part of the family, but not like part of the family, like part of the familiar unit. So my younger sibling's 7.5 years younger than me, so I was for a good while the only child, and then they came along.
I'm sorry.
No, it was fine. It was just one of those things. Like, I had to grow up and learn how to deal with it, and they're great. They're fantastic now, but they're a good human.
You had 7 years without them, though.
Yeah,
That's
it was
a long
nice. It was nice
time.
being the only child. And what's funny is because like I was like the one who was on the sports, and like my parents, I was of course the oldest child, because of course my parents were like, oh, you gotta have the perfect grades, and like, you gotta be smart, you gotta do all the things. And then when they come along, they're like, just pass. Oh, you don't want to do sports? And it's okay. Yeah. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah, that's a choice of things. So to answer Taekwon Donut's question, how do you best? Like, I navigate it by being a younger sibling. I am used to being like the odd duck out of the situation, and so it's funny. It's funny for me because I can just. Younger siblings are the same. Like, it doesn't matter your gender. Like, it doesn't matter. We're all the same person.
And so to answer that, I don't really play male characters too often. I'll usually play gender queer, gender neutral, non-binary characters or femme characters, just because that's what I'm comfortable with. And also, too, I may play with a lot of masked players who are already playing men characters, so I'm like, they got that covered. I don't need to fall on those lines.
I very rarely play male characters. I think there are only like 2 non-femme characters that I've role played. One was for a Call of Cthulhu game, and the other is sort of for like a one-on-one that I'm doing with my partner, who I'm playing like a non-binary tiefling, who is pretty cool.
I mean, the other thing is too. So I play gender. I say gender non-specific because I name my cat. Girls should have better names. I'm just gonna put that out there. All of them. I'm just better at naming them. Like, I played a girl character named Monroe, and everyone for a long time thought Monroe was a dude, and so I was like, no, I don't know why you thought that, because Marilyn Monroe is right there.
Yeah.
Like, And like Meredith is also like I have an M name thing. Meredith is also a boy and girl name. Like I just do weird things with naming conventions, and then I like decide later on what the gender of my character is. So there's that.
I'm so bad at naming. I'm like,
Oh,
people
I have
just
a
tell me
baby
a
book.
letter and I'll figure it out from there.
As a writer, I have a baby book with baby names, and I spend a lot of time on behind the name, like looking up different baby names for things and first names and last names and all that jazz.
I love it. Yeah. Eventually,
Oh.
like if I'm like planning instead of being like right on the spot, I'm like, okay, cool. I want the character's name to like reflect this, and like I want it to come from this background. So like I'll do the deep dive then. But if I'm having to come up with a name on the spot, I'm like, oh no.
Steven.
Give me a letter and we'll figure this out.
I'm also really bad at names. I have to like sit on it for like a couple days and then do some looking on the internet before I settle on something.
I name my characters terrible things. I'm not allowed to have kids because I'm gonna name one of my first children Clementine.
Like Eternal Sunshine?
Oh.
I have no idea what you're talking about, like the fruit.
Yeah, like in Eternal Sunshine, her name was
seen.
Clementine. Or no, never mind then. Wait, what's her name? Or was that something else?
I don't.
Am I just like making stuff up?
Is that the Stephen Carell movie?
That's the one with Jim Carrey.
Oh,
I
don't know.
Why did I think her name was Clementine? Was it Clementine? Pretty sure it was.
I just know that there's a game. I forgot what it's called, but it's like one of those Telltale games.
Oh, The Walking Dead.
Yeah, The Walking Dead.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I thought of that first. I thought of that years ago. I have a live journal post to prove it.
Her name is Clementine. Okay, cool. So both of them are Clementine.
Nice.
So I'm not allowed to name children, so I name all my children, my fictional characters, after the kids that I should have, with all the weird naming things to get it out of my system.
Yeah.
But,
So speaking of having children, I guess I kind of want to push us to our next topic that we have, which is like the expectation of Femme, Folk, and Spaces. Like, I think in society, there's already expectations put on us by the world because the world is terrible and unpatriotic and it's awful and I hate it. Anywho, do you think that follows in the same conventions in gaming communities or things you ran into?
Listen, if one person asks me if I want to play a cleric, I will fight them. I love clerics. I think clerics are amazing. Don't get me wrong. I have a hat somewhere in the world that literally says cleric on it. Like, I love playing clerics. Don't expect me to play the cleric. I play the cleric because I want to play the cleric, not because I'm a female person, a female identifying person in a healing role and a support role. I'm not the support character in this story. I'm not here to fix your messes. I will leave you to die. Like, I will leave you to die.
Actually, going off that, in that where I'm the only femme facing person at the table, D&D game I'm with, I actually play the cleric, but I play the war cleric.
Yeah.
Basically meaning like, if you die, sorry, buddy, I'll heal you in a minute, but death is part of life, and I just keep going. Like, if you don't mind me, there's like one scene that we had that was just like, it was just like so perfect that our warlock was being held up by knife by this person, and like the DM told us, like, if he makes a move or we make a move, he's dead. And so there was this thing where I was like, all right, well, her name's Captain Scylla because she was part of the military before she became a cleric. And I was like, Scylla just looks at you, and it's like, and you see her starting to grab her warhammer, and the DM starts laughing. He's like, that's just such a war cleric thing. Like, that's a part of it. You just gotta go with it.
Yeah.
You just gotta accept your fate. We'll get you back up in a bit.
Like, my witch character is more likely to heal you than any cleric I've ever played. Like, I'm not, like, my bard is more likely to heal you than any any cleric I've ever played.
Our
like,
bard is more of a healer than me, the cleric, so.
Yeah. Like, I'm a cleric in name only.
Yeah, exactly. They actually call her a paladin just because she's a warlock. But, how about Carrie, Banana? Have y'all ran into anything like that or have any
definitely examples? Yeah. I like to do what I like to call being an aggressive support.
I love that.
Like, I love playing support characters. I love playing characters with a lot of utility, but I am very offensive and aggressive, and I don't
Best defense is an offense.
Yeah, exactly. And another thing is like one of my former long-running campaigns I used to be a part of. I actually I didn't play the cleric, and didn't really have a cleric kind of. I played the ranger of the group, and she was the most damage dealing player that I've had played until like very recently, where she got a reputation in that party of just being able to like 1 or 2 shot people. There was a instance where in a single game session, a single fight, I rolled like 4 nat 20s.
That's amazing. That's beautiful. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it so much.
Oh, it's amazing.
Just,
I would say I usually play like jockey type characters. Like I'm literally always, maybe it's just like me because like I like being sort of like an asshole at the table. But it's mostly because I mean, like I just like to turn things on their head just because like a lot of the time when I see people playing like mass characters who specifically like cishet, white dudes who play like women that they want to, are attracted to, IRL or whatever, I'd be like, yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna play this jock asshole who's going to be an asshole the entire game through.
That's actually a question that we have in chat, so we'll get back to that in a second.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
oh, sorry. Yeah.
I forgot what we were saying. Oh, but for me, like I enjoy playing support. I actually at one point made 5 clerics I was playing at once in various games because I
went at the same time. I was like, that's a lot of cleric.
Yeah, like they're all different types of clerics, so they're not all the same, but but they're all for various different games and stuff. But I can just enjoy doing what I want to do. Like if there's expectations, like, and I think I haven't ran into that because I play with people I trust. And if they try to enforce that patriarchal bullshit on me, I'll be like, ain't gonna happen, son. We're not going there. And so, yeah, I'll play a cleric. But then again, maybe I'll just play the war cleric and not really heal and like be the tank instead. Because everybody else is like a warlock or a wizard or whatever.
Yeah, no one thinks about party balance.
Yeah. But the question we had in chat, let me pull it up real quick.
Put it at the bottom. I put it at question 4, I think.
Oh, where is it?
Oh, did Jerry put it at the bottom of the doc? Okay. Scrolling. Oh, maybe. Oh, yeah, here we go. What are your experiences with cis men playing femme characters, and what kind of boundaries would you recommend?
Don't make people you're attracted to. It's weird.
Yeah, don't
act out your sexual fantasy. Don't do it. It's weird.
Don't fall on tropes.
No, tropes are fine. No, here's the thing. I love tropes. I love a good trope. I love a good damsel in distress, Lois Lane. Like I love them. Don't act out your weird sexual fantasy with your character that I have to witness. That's really when you use a trope in a weird way. When you're playing with your friends. Like I'm gonna put a imaginative situation. You're playing with your friends, and so actually, no, I'm gonna use a real situation. My friend Harry was playing a Mouse Guard campaign, and his character was female. And she spent the entire game trying to set things on fire. It was just Harry reskinned as a female character. Who occasionally would flirt with the male NPC characters. That's cool, that's fine. But he didn't make his girlfriend what he wanted his girlfriend to be. Like, don't do that. That's weird. I've seen that happen at tables. I've seen it happen in comic book conventions. It's weird. Stop doing it. It's weird and no one likes it.
Mm-hmm.
So my thing is I actually played with the DM once. It was a rotating game and I just fell into this table where he played on tropes, which, whatever. But the thing, he's like, oh, look at me. What was me? I'm a woman. Oh, sort of situation.
Don't do that.
Yeah, I don't do that.
That's what I mean by tropes.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. And I was just like, why am I here? And then he also assumed because I was playing a tiefling and he assumed that my character would be super sneaky and mischievous because that's a tiefling and all that. And I was like, bruh, she's a monk. She's not like that.
That's not how this works.
Don't put words in my mouth. So, yeah, just that's what I mean by playing on tropes. It's like, oh, I'm so innocent and I can't help myself.
Yeah, no. When I say tropes, I mean like Scooby-Doo mystery trope type.
Oh, those are great.
Those are great. Those are lots of fun. Lois Lane constantly falling into like being Galen in distress while also antagonizing Lex Luthor. That's a great like hard-boiled detective meets woman in distress tropes that I love. But those are two different kinds of tropes. Don't use bad tropes.
Do y'all have any Banana Carrie? Y'all have any suggestions or boundaries?
I mean, definitely don't do any weird, gross stuff at the table. Like, if if you're not comfortable doing it out in public, like, don't do it at the table. Pretty much.
Actually, no. If you wouldn't want your mother to see you doing that thing out in public, don't do the thing.
Yeah, don't do
it.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think of like experiences. Honestly, like I like tropes are like I don't mind tropes too much, like, you know, but I think it's just you need to flesh out your character more than just like this one thing, like this one concept. Like you have to flesh out that character more and make them, you know, more than just like
one-dimensional.
Yes.
You contain multitudes.
Yes.
Don't leave them flat. Like,
yeah. I would say, like use your safety tools, use your, your X cards if players do something not so great. And, I think that people, like sometimes when you're at a table and things get too intense, it does, you do forget to use like the X card and you do forget to use or go back to your lines and fails, right? So I think like ways to sort of not get there, like not feel like, oh, I'm pressured to use this thing, but I don't want to because I'm scared that like, everyone's going to hate me, is by setting expectations with a session 0, right? Like doing all your work in the session 0. If you're going to be playing a femme character, then like, and you're like a cis male, then like make sure that, all the other players at the table know that you're going to do this and what your character is going to be like, and then discuss and, try to mitigate the risk before like, you actually get into it.
And I have a question going off of that too, because you brought out safety tools. How many of y'all started playing before safety tools? Yeah. So once safety tools came around, how did y'all feel about them and like having them there? Like for me, it was like, oh, this exists. Like what?
Well, so my first encounter with safety tools was once again Games on Demand at a PAX game. I want to say at a PAX. I want to say. And so it was great for. I feel like safety tools are great for conventions. I mean, they're also great for home games. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying they're not great for home games. I'm just saying that my home games. I'm more like, because my home games are people that I come to that I know. I don't necessarily need safety tools because I will just call you on your shit. I will interrupt the game if I'm not having a good time. If you've done something that's made me uncomfortable, or that you've like you've done something that's triggering to me. And my friends know things I like and don't like. Like they know, don't put me alone in space. Like they know that. That's not a. Hold on a second. Someone's asking what safety tools are, and I have that list. Oh, I have a.
You have a list up. Good. Yeah.
The TTRPG safety toolkit is.
You mean any award winning?
Yes.
Any award winning.
Gold. Any award winning.
Oops, I typed that wrong. It's that one. I can spell.
You got this.
Wait, did I spell safety wrong the first time in my command?
No, you said you spelled it right the first time. Oh, there you go.
There you go.
No, the second I spelled safety wrong on the command. Safety on the command is yeah. I'll fix that right now.
But yeah, like for example, when I first started playing back in the mid 2000s, because those are the time, they didn't exist. My LARP where that happened, the story from before times, they didn't exist. none of them existed. So it wasn't until I would say maybe like 5 years ago or so is when I first started hearing about like, putting your head down to like walk away from a scene, or even when John Strop, oh my god, Banana, how many?
Stavropoulos.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I made the X card. That was like, oh, I can finally play on things that are comfortable instead of just like eating my words. Like, yeah, yeah. So it made me a lot better. I feel a lot better about games.
Yeah. Should we do a quick rundown of a few safety tools just so that everyone sort of knows what they are?
Yeah.
We could do like the X card real quick. X card, lines and veils, and like cut and break, I guess.
Or there's also rewind too.
Oh yeah,
rewind is one of my favorite. Rewind is one of my favorite.
Yeah.
So X card is basically it's a visual cue, and so in a real person game, in an in-person game, it's a card on the table that you can tap saying no, I don't like this thing, and so it's the kink related equivalent of a red or a soccer related to a red card, and then N is the soccer related yellow card, where it's just like I'm uncomfortable with this thing. We should maybe pause and do something else. And it's like I'm a-okay with this. You can keep going, moving forward. And the hand symbols are exactly the same that I just did. X. I don't know what the N one is. I think it's N. I think that's N. And then O is like thumbs up. We're good to go for like when you're on stream and video chat with people, so you can like keep going and know things. Rewind is exactly what it sounds like. It's like you've done something and we want to undo the thing that we just did. It's the ASL sign for no, yes, for N, yes. And so rewind is like you've done something that we don't like and we would like to undo the thing that we just did. So we rewind and rewrite the scene. And what were the other ones we want to talk about?
I know for me, lines and veils is a big one that I do. Anytime I run a game, I'm like, okay, cool. We're gonna do lines and veils. It won't be on stream, just or in the recording itself. I want us at the table though to be honest and open with each other, like what we think is uncomfortable and like what, and, even if you have the slightest like inclination, like I don't know, maybe not this, we can just put a line for it. It's fine, whatever. We can nix that. That's a-okay.
Space.
And yeah, and so I do lines, veils, and ask me first. So I actually have a little checklist that I pass out to the players in Google Sheets and be like, hey, will you fill this out real quick and just tell me what you want to do? So that's a big one that I use every single time I run a game.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Anyone else have any other safety tools they want to talk about?
I guess like open door policy is pretty straightforward. You're just like, as long as you're having a good time, you can hang out. But if you're not, if you need to leave, if you need to go to the bathroom, if you need to do anything, like adult things, like, we're all adults. We can go whenever we want. You're not.
This is not kindergarten.
Everyone will. Yeah, exactly. Like you're not restricted to a table. Your time is precious, and you can just like go do your thing whenever you want. So, yeah.
And rewind's really good too, because you can always just like restart and be like, nope, that's not happening. And what I love about podcasting is the beautiful work of editing. So like you can just edit out all the you don't want to hear before.
All the bad parts.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think script change, I don't know if script change is the same as rewind. It's like similar, right? Like that's basically.
Well, rewind's in that, right? Like in the script change.
Yeah.
Rewind is part of script change.
Yeah. Okay, check-in is more like LARPy stuff. But you also use it for like live streams and things like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Other LARP things, since I've done LARPing, Dan has done LARPing. I don't know if y'all have or not, but basically just look down or bow out is the same as the open door policy, where like you just aren't a part of the scene anymore. You just like, no, I'm not even going to bother with the scene because it's too much for me. And they just keep going. And they don't ask you any questions or anything like that. You can just literally bow out of the game and be like, all right, cool.
Close the curtain.
Yeah, I'm done.
And we're leaving now.
But yeah, I think that's it for safety tools. I know there's probably a lot more out there, but
Yeah, like Support Flower and like all those other ones.
Stars and Wishes are another one that I enjoy, and not a lot of people do, but it helps you like understand like, oh, what's a highlight of the game, and then like what, and wishes are like, what do you want for the next game? Roses and Thorns are another one, which is roses are highlights, thorns are like what you didn't care for and like will like change for the better. But
I like to use like Roses and Thorns for playtesting versus like Stars and Wishes is more for like in game, like you're playing a game, you're having fun, what's, you know, the next thing that we're going to do. But like, yeah, I think they're two different tools for doing different things, because I feel like Roses and Thorns is more like critiquing versus like Stars and Wishes is more like things I'd like to see.
Yeah. So we had another question that we didn't forget about you. We didn't forget. Actually, no, I answered them, which I threw all the links in chat. For all of them TTRPG streams. So if you scroll up in chat, I forget who asked. I didn't copy down anyone's name. I'm sorry. But I will be posting a list on Twitter of all the resources that I'm collecting. It's a long list at this point. It's not a long list. It's 14.
Oh, wow.
It's 14 things on this list. I'll be doing a bunch of Twitter threads once Gen Con is over, basically.
Yeah, it looks like we have about 8 more minutes.
So does anyone have any other questions? Because we are gonna wrap up, and then we're gonna do outros, plugs, and I know I have to do Gen Con plugs.
Are there more Gen Con plugs? Oh, there's probably still
I'm done with Gen Con plugs.
Nice.
I'm done too.
Yay! We're done.
This is my last panel. I can go to sleep.
Yay!
With oh gosh, I was just so surprised that things started so early in the morning. I was like, wow, y'all are.
Well, I'm used.
Funny.
Okay. Listen. It wasn't bad. It wasn't. It was fine.
I thought it went really well.
It went really well. It went really. It's just I knew. So you know what it was? I blamed everyone who told me to go to bed, because if I hadn't gone to bed, it wouldn't have been fine. I would have just been awake. But y'all were like, go to sleep. And I was just like,
stop talking to Imani. Let her go to sleep. Dang it! Like,
no, just let me stay awake. I could have just stayed awake until the panel. And then it would have been fine. I'm glad everyone's having a great time. So if anyone has no more questions, we're gonna do like last minute plugs.
a lot of hard hands, a lot of thank yous. No, thank y'all for being here and listening to our shenanigans of this panel.
Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna do plugs. So everyone just prepare themselves. Morgan, you go first.
Okay. All right. Hi, I'm Morgan. You can find me on all the socials at Serena Bezos. Things I do. I do podcasting work. So you can find me on the Roleplay Network with right now with the Red Death game on the one shot on the Roleplay, and I co-host and GM for Powered by the Players, which is a Powered by the Apocalypse one shot and mini campaigns actual play podcast. Oh gosh, I said podcast way too many times. Where we have a rotating diverse cast for each and every game. We currently just released Mask, and we're currently releasing Bluebeard's Bride. So if you like any of those games, please give us a listen. You can find us on PBT Players on Twitter. I'm on Utopia with the Kahania Quest game. So if you like Quest and you like Disaster Children, please give us a follow. You can just find me everywhere else. I'm also now a Kickstarter writer for Zhongxi and the Flood in the Banquet Hall. So Banana can explain more about that in a bit. But yeah, that's me. That's what I do. Be my friend.
Okay, next.
Is it me?
Yes, go for it.
Hi everyone, I'm Carrie, also known as Utrail. I can be found on Twitter as Utrail. I am an illustrator, and a lot of my work is found on Drive-Thru RPG and DM's Guild. My work includes any nominated book of Season Solstice, and the Electrum bestseller Unbreakable, which is the collection of 5e adventures written, illustrated, and designed by an all Asian group. and it's fantastic. I definitely recommend you take a look at it. And my latest release is something that came out on Thursday, the Wayfarer's Atlas, which is on DM's Guild, which is a collection of 12 locations, and it's filled with like prompts and NPCs you can find and adventure ideas. It's really great and it's really beautifully illustrated. And currently, I am working on a game that I'm looking to release at the end of August for the Folklore Jam that Jessica Macram is currently running. It's going to be a game based on Obon, so
Yay!
look forward to that. Yeah,
everything?
That's all I got. That's everything.
Okay. Banana Chan, go for it.
I am Banana Chan. Thanks again for watching. I am the owner and co-founder of a small box board game publishing company / RPG publishing company called Game in a Curry. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook at Banana Chan Games, or you can find my company at Game in a Curry. Currently, we are working on Jiangshi Blend the Banquet Hall, which is a tabletop role-playing game where players are characters who are a Chinese family running a restaurant in the 1920s in San Francisco. Though you can choose your Chinatown if you want to have like a different Chinatown. And Morgan's working on it. And in the daytime, you are running this restaurant. You're trying to manage everything. And at night, you face off with Jiangshi, hopping vampires, and try to survive. So that's what the game is. I've also worked on a few other things, including Scooby-Doo Betrayal at Mystery Mansion. I always get the name wrong. But I've worked on that. Terror Below, we just published Battle of the Boy Bands. So that's another game that we published by Cleo Yunsu Davis and Vicky Ho. The backer kit surveys are out for that. So we should be able to do pre-orders very soon as well. So look out for that.
Yay!
Yay.
And I'm last, so I'm going to do myself. Hi, I'm Imani. I run Margaret Catter Development. I make games on itch.io. You can find me at Margaret Catter on itch.io. You can find me at mcatterdev on Twitter. You can find me at Margaret Catter TV on Twitch, which is where we're currently at. And then let's see, what else do I do? I'm running Turn-Based Tactics Jam. Let me find the link to Turn-Based Tactics Jam. Who made that gasping sound?
I'm excited for this.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. It's Turn-Based Tactics TTRPGs. It starts in 29 days, 10 hours, and 31 minutes. It goes for a month, and you can make a Turn-Based Tactics game. I also run the best Riot Girl game jam ever, which is Girls Make Game Jam. That's the following month, I believe. I think is right. I can't remember. My brain is busted. Here, this is the link to the previous one, and then there's a new one that I haven't released yet. Yes. Well, no, it's in September. It's in September. It's okay. Yes. And I will link the Girls Make Game Volume 2 on Twitter. And let's see, what else do I do? That's it. That's all I got. That's it. And so we're gonna go hang out with some friends at Utopia because I believe that they are streaming their last panel of Gen Con. So we're gonna wave. Morgan went to do something. They'll be back. It's okay. They won't get to wave goodbye. But let's go raid Utopia.
Yay.
We're gonna wave goodbye for the next 9 seconds.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, we're still waving. Okay.
Oh.
9 seconds. Sorry, we did it.
Yay.
Yay.
I'm always bad at rating. Someone's saying they can hear me?